wow, we have one Manchester connection today. Welcome everybody to Leading Our Own Way. You know what they say about small worlds? Well, buckle up because this one's about to blow your mind. Picture this. Two blokes from Manchester literally grew up 3 streets apart who somehow end up bumping into each other in a Melbourne speaking event of one of my former guests, by the way. What are the odds, right? But here's the thing about my mate Gordon Jenkins, and I'm genuinely lucky to call him that now. His journey from those Manchester streets isn't your typical success story. This is a man who stared into the darkest moments life can throw at you. We're talking about standing on the Westgate Bridge in front of one of those moments where everything feels impossible. And this bridge here in Melbourne is... Anyway, but somehow, and this is where it gets incredible, a certain set of words changed everything for both him and his wife Wendy. And if you think that's where the story peaks, wait until you hear about Bamfi the dog and how even the smallest connections can become the biggest turning points. Gordon's got his knack for finding light in the darkest of places and turning life's biggest challenges into the greatest strengths. So grab your cuppa, settle in and prepare to meet someone who proves that sometimes the most extraordinary stories start just 3 streets away from where you grew up. And sometimes they're saved, for the most unexpected moments of hope. Enjoy part 1 here on Leading Our Own Way on the YouTube series. Here's Gordon Jenkins and myself. Enjoy. Welcome to Leading Our Own Way. I'm your host, Andrew White, and this is the podcast that unveils captivating narratives of resilience and personal triumph. This podcast is for anyone seeking inspiration and insights on overcoming life's challenges. Follow and subscribe, and then we can lead together forever. Well, Mr. Gordon Jenkins, we have a story for everybody to hear, don't we?
We sure do. And if they can understand us, because as they're guessing already, we talk like each other.
Before I actually share how we met, I'm really worried we're going to have too much of a laugh.
So the problem when we have too much of a laugh is that we start talking really, 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 really quickly. Yeah. And the only people that's going to understand this is going to be me and you. We're actually going to have I think we're going to have a bit of a laugh. I think we're going to have maybe even a bit of a cry.
Yeah.
But we'll hopefully end it with people who listen to this go, shit, yeah, okay, we're on the right track. We can actually do something here.
Yeah, and that's the essence of the podcast. Absolutely. All right. So okay, then. So I'll go with this one then. If for people to stay around for your journey, because it's incredible, absolutely inspirational and sad at the same time. If you could put your story, your journey, your episode title into a sentence, what would that be?
Well, I'm going to pinch it from something I heard. I actually don't know. In my WhatsApp, I've got all these quotes. So this goes back to 2023. So sometimes around 2023, which I think if we actually get onto 2023 from my childhood, but it's this quote and it says, if you're going to miss a bus, you might as well miss it running. And I think that's my life. That if you're going to do something, you might as well do it, give it all and see what happens.
Well, since I've met you, that actually sums you up perfectly for sure. Now,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on, you're going to tell him. Go on,
I will. I'm dying. I'm itching. I'm on the edge of my seat. So, my former guest, Alex Ward, held a speaking event in Melbourne. I shared this similar journey last night with the person I interviewed, who went out last week, if I've stuck to that structure. And she owns an event place, and we went to that. And Alex said, I've got a perfect guy for you to meet. I'm like, oh yeah, go on then. And then you walk up. Here we go. Gordon walks over, this smiley face. I'm like, oh yeah. And I hear the accent, and straight away I'm like, dude, where are you from? Manchester. So am I. Whereabouts? Oh, Denton. Our faces, your face. And I went, so am I. And you said Town Lane. I went, I won't mention the streets in case anyone wants to hunt me down. But we're like 2-3 streets, a long street, but 3 streets away from each other, pretty much. And blown away. And as soon as that came out, we were inseparable all night. And since pretty much.
It was absolutely bizarre. And I got home and my wife Wendy said to me, goes, what's happened to you? I said, oh, you'll never guess what's happened. And she goes, what? I said, I met a guy literally 3 streets away from me in Manchester. And she goes, what you mean? And she exaggerated. She goes, what, literally 3 streets? When I say 3 streets, I literally mean 3 streets away. I said, did you know each other back in Manchester? I said, we probably knew of each other, but didn't know each other. And you're a few years younger than me, so
not many.
We didn't actually guess. Well, not many, but still a few years younger. Yeah. And I said it's just amazing, and it's like if I'm a brother.
Yeah, man.
Right? And I think that night when we got home, because you were driving back home, we were chatting away, and all I remember Wendy saying is, "Are you ever going to come to bed?" I went, "Not really." And I remember lying in bed just giggling away, just absolutely giggling. She goes, what's so funny? I said, I cannot believe we've gone 15,000 kilometres or 17,000 kilometres. And I don't think anyone at that event could actually understand it. They actually thought we'd known each other for years and years and years, and we'd actually come together because the connection, that instant connection was just unbelievable. And we've known each other, 3 months, and we've shared so much about our lives because there's that trust there, but because we're from the same village. Yeah, so to speak, and it was amazing. It was and it is a highlight, and I talk about it all the time when I talk about networking and everything else. I talk about the power of networking, and again, just by saying yes to go to that event, which was completely not something I would usually do, because you never know who you may meet. Well,
there was a calling, wasn't it, that night?
It was a calling, yeah. It's awesome.
It was amazing, and I have to thank you on air, public to everybody of the world. I did my first speaking event, and I was honoured for you to come down and support me, so I really appreciate you doing that. Honestly meant the world to me, because it was the first. I've spoken a lot in public in terms of my career, but in terms of public speaking around the podcast and my journey, I'd never done before, and you came down and sat there and even assisted me doing the PowerPoint, so thanks, mate.
Thank you. And if anyone's listening to this and they're looking for a speaker, get Andy, because Andy won't apply because he's very embarrassed, so just pick him up and say, Andy, come and talk to us, and he'll talk. And if he doesn't come, if he says no, let me know, and I'll go around and pick him up from his house and drag him to the event.
To be fair, I actually, I was shitting myself, but when I got the mic, and I knew this was going to happen, as soon as I got the mic, I was never going to put the mic down. I don't know if you noticed, but the woman behind was 5 minutes left.
Right.
And I was a quarter of the way through, so I was like, fuck.
But I think what you remembered that day is, yes, you had too much content, and you think you missed a lot of that content out, but the audience doesn't know your story, and what you told of that story still made an impact. Yeah. So it's not always about telling them everything; it's just about making that impact as well. So they can come back for the next event and pay thousands of dollars.
Well, let's hope, Let's well hope. But today is all about you, Gordon. You've been on a bit of a journey, but before we begin that, he's wearing an England flag for anyone who's watching on Spotify and YouTube. Tell us a little bit about. Is it because we're both English, or? So
it's been about English. If you're going to start off from a journey, he's from England, but I came to us. I will go backwards forward, but I came to England, came to Australia in '95, and I soon picked up the nickname of Splinters, because do you support England or do you support Australia? Yeah. And I say, when it's England versus Australia in the cricket, and England are batting first, I support England for the first over, and then I support Australia. If it's England in the rugby versus Australia, it's always England. It's always England. So this is it. But this is something that I've carried around for 30, 40 years. It's got beer or blood stains, I'm not quite sure. It's got football signatures. It's got rugby signatures. It just goes everywhere with me. And it's I usually have a Manchester United scarf flag on, but I'm a bit embarrassed to wear that one at the moment. So it's just a bit. He's got that there, everybody. By the way, I've got that there. But it's just a bit about my journey that I thought would be a nice to start with, and I just put it over the chair because, in a way, it keeps me grounded to where I came from, and it keeps me remembering where I came from, and how I actually got to where I am to today. It also upsets a few Aussies as well when they see it in my office because I don't have any Australian flags. But I do class myself Australian. When people say to me, "What do you say you are?" I say I'm a Mancunian because I'm from Manchester, and I'm an Australian. So I do class myself. I am dual nationality. So I do. I am Australian, but you just can't take the English out of me. Yeah.
No, you can't. That's for sure. That's one thing I know for sure. And that's why we get along so well. Absolutely.
It is.
Well, Gordon, we normally start the episode with how the guest leads their own way currently. And it's going to become very clear as the episode goes on. Your journey is so... Well, it's sad. I say sad, but that's the feeling, the emotion that I felt when I heard yours, amongst others. But you might not feel of it that way. What is if you could attach some emotions or, emotions, feelings towards your journey before we get into how you're leading your own way, what would those emotions be?
Excitement, trepidation, nervousness, thrill. It really is a scale on where I am. Last week the scale was weighted on the negative side, way on the negative side. Today it's been brilliant because I've caught up with you, and I've had lunch with a guy mate who's one of my best friends, and so today's just a brilliant day. So I'm on sky high. So if we split it up into, try to split it up into three compartments. Personal, it is. I'm achieving things and I'm doing things today that I would never ever thought I was capable of, have the opportunity to do it, or have the impact I am doing. Professionally, schooling was just a complete waste of time to where I am today. From a studying perspective, but not from an education perspective. And professionally, then what I put towards those two people is I've been very fortunate along the way, good or bad, to meet the whole demographic of the global population. So I met good people, bad people, people in the middle, and people at the extremes. And I think today I'm a pretty rounded guy where I don't have negative people in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I just refuse to have negative people in my life. I don't have the time for them, but it's taken me some time to get to that point. So I am 55 years old. I know that we've only got 80 to 86 summers in our life. So I've got another, let's be realistic, 15 to 20 summers. Maybe 25, maybe 30 summers left in me. Right? Nothing you can do about it. So I can sit in a corner and cry and go, I've only got 30 summers in me. Or I can get on with life and start running for that bus.
Love it.
And that's life. What we've gone through with Wendy and my own personal stuff and everything else is, we talked about this a number of times. In anything we have in business, whatever we do, we can sit in the corner and cry and say, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. And I think one of the things I've learned about the Aussies is if you cry in the corner and say, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair, very few are going to come and help you. But if you actually come and actually attempt to do something and ask for help, people are very receiving and giving help. So it's like, don't just take, give something in, and people will give. So, so you asked me to talk about words, and this is the best English I've got. 4-letter words is the best English, so you're not going to get any really long words out of me.
No, they're good.
That's the
I like
way
your
I feel.
analogies.
Yeah.
So how would you find, with what you're doing currently then, how would you find that you're running for that bus?
Well, I never knew buses were that bloody fast because I should have caught it right now. So the analogy is, there's no buses. Suddenly, 3 of them arrive at once. I think that is where my life is happening right at the moment. My life is at a pivotal point on a business and professional level where I'm going to jump on one of those buses very quickly.
Yeah,
and it's going to define the rest of my life going forward. It's a point where I think some people sometimes will struggle to make that jump on that bus because of that fear or that change or whatever else. But I don't work a 9-to-5 job, so I have that beauty of having that flexibility. But it's where I am now is, lead your own way. This thing about running for the boss, it's scary,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because all my eggs are about to go into one basket, which is not what I teach or what I preach or what I educate or what I speak about from a coaching perspective, from a business, but I'm about to do it. But it feels right. So sometimes there's three components to making any decision in life: the head, the heart, and the gut. Fortunately for me, the gut rules because the gut's quite big.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say it.
But I go, if you get 2 out of 3, that's where it goes. You're never going to get perfect. I never want perfect. If you get all 3 lined up, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And at the way that I am at the moment, I've got all 3 lined up to where the venture I'm going on. When's this going out? June, July?
Oh, it'd probably be like 3 to 3.5 months ish. Yeah.
Okay, then so we can tell them what's happening because by that time
I was about to ask anyway, so don't worry about it.
So I'm about to completely change, and you're going to call me Amanda. No, you're not. I'm about to.
I didn't expect that.
I told you we didn't know where this one was going to go. Darling, Wendy, if you listen to this, I'm not. So I'm about to launch a men's skincare business. It's a business I had in 2008 to 2012 that was very successful. We didn't take it to the next level for various reasons. And every Christmas I've sent a SMS to one of the investors and going, one day we're going to relaunch it, because it was just so good. And it was that thing of, when I die, I don't want if only to be on that gravestone because I didn't take this opportunity. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to do it.
Beautiful. So why did it not go ahead originally then?
We were too successful. So we grew too quickly. So we were all over the US, all over Macy's, Sephora, Nordstrom's. We grew too quickly and we hit the GFC, and we had a big order to fill for Macy's. And we won awards all around the world. So we won Men's Skincare Magazine awards, GQ magazines, all types of awards. We won for best products, everything. And we just couldn't get the finance to fund an order.
Wow.
And then we couldn't fulfill the order. The products got pulled, and then things happen in life. So things happen in life with health, work, family. And next thing you know, you blink, and that's 5 years down the track, 6 years down the track, and then something else comes up, and I go, hey, if you keep on waiting for nothing to come up, nothing's ever going to get done. So it came to the point where everyone that I was looking at died, so I didn't have anyone else to look after, apart from the wife, who's still alive. And
that's a story as well.
That's a story as well, which we were joking about last night. We must get onto that story about why she's not dead. It always cost me a fortune.
Well, the way you said it to me at first, I was thinking, "Oh, this guy's crazy."
And it's something I just can't let this thing go. It is. I just need to know, and I just want to know. Can we do it again? And everything so far about how we're using technology to change it in a different way of doing it is just. It's just changing in a way. It's everything I teach him, everything I coach in business, and how I want business to grow, and businesses don't see the value. I'm going, well, shit, if that's what I'm getting people to pay for my services, well, why don't I do it myself?
Yeah.
And I'm doing it and having a way all along. So if you want to, we can end the conversation and I can tell you anything you want to know about cardboard boxes, 2-ply cardboard boxes, 150 grams to 350 grams of cardboard boxes. I can tell you why the 3-ply, 2-ply, 4-ply. I can tell you the different code of printing that you can have on it. I can tell you the difference between single-sided, double-sided printing, and why single-sided costs more than double. I can tell you anything you want to know about cardboard boxes. Okay. So you can imagine when I get home and the conversations are, "How's your day been, darling?" "Well, want to listen to cardboard boxes?"
Oh God.
But we're going to have a bit of a laugh about it as well. So it's so it's good.
Yeah. Can you tell us what Are you allowed to say it? I don't know if you are, but the skincare business name before it
I
opens.
own it. I could do whatever. The good thing about owning the business, and you're the only one that owns the business, is you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, tell us that.
So left hand, can I tell the name of the business? Yes, right hand. Okay, we can tell the name of the business. So it's going to be called Eshu, ESHU, Eshu
Yep.
Skincare. Eshu stands for word, which I don't want to give too much away because that's going to be in the pre-marketing. We're going to launch it through an influencer program, which is quite unique. The way we're going to build the product up is going to be quite unique, and as well, we've got some quite interesting, unique designs. And this is a business that I'm building to sell. Like I said, 55 years old. There's no point in building a 20-year legacy.
Mm.
And I know I only look 21. That's because of the product I used previously.
I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Which is people go, well, what's that got to do with what you're doing at the moment? I said, everything in anything. It's about life, about living up for life. So so the guy from Denton is going to be a skincare. Well,
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Especially who was failing at Two Tree High School. I don't know if you were failing. I'm only going off what you said before that. It didn't do you any good. But
It didn't do me any good. Yeah.
we called it 3 Twigs at Edgy Park, where I went, just so you know. 3 Twigs.
3 twigs.
Yeah, the teacher came in, we're better than 3 Twigs down the road. I was like, what? We couldn't believe she said that in assembly.
We called it a maternity ward because people were just leaving every single week.
What, pregnant?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right for Denton, doesn't it?
Like they came in 2 years too late to do the sex education.
Yeah. So there's other forms of how you're leading your own way, though. Apart from that business, you've got a few other little ventures to go down as well, haven't you? That you've been doing.
So I've got a few other ventures, and I part of we'll tell the story. Wendy had a double lung transplant in 2006, and when you're on the corporate gravy train, she went to Shell. I was at UBS, and we had our life planned out to travel the world, have kids, and it suddenly goes out the window. So on the back of the journey she went through, we've set up a foundation called Lungitude. It's like Longitude, but with a U.
Yep.
And that looks at that, amongst other things, it funds really embryonic type research into lung transplant, but organ transplant research. And I say really embryonic, so these are people that can't get funding because the theory of their research hasn't been proven yet. So we fund it, the research comes together, gets published, and then they get bigger funding. And, we started that in 2016, and that's made a real big difference in life. Excuse me. And it's made a difference not just in lung transplantation or organ transplantation, it's made a difference in the whole organ matching process at the very beginning of the process. And it's been standards that have been put around the world. So, little old Victoria in Australia is making a global impact. So
Amazing.
There's things like that happen, and it's yes, you want to shout about it. You don't want to brag, but you don't want to brag about it. But yeah, that type of thing. Did I ever think I would ever found a world renowned foundation? No, because in my days of investment banking and working in banking, if someone wanted me to do something charitable, it was, can you buy a table or can you sponsor this event? And it was really easy for me to pull the checkbook out and go, yes.
Yeah.
So my way of supporting was through the money, which soon realised that as soon as the money stopped, I was no longer wanted. So it comes back to this whole thing about possessions and what does possessions actually mean, and what does success mean at the same side. My success was actually my money. My success and why people wanted me, they didn't actually want me, they wanted my money. But I thought they wanted me.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's no regret in what I did. It was just a realisation afterwards when I started asking for favours myself. It was like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right, so there's that as well. I do a lot of mentoring in business as well. Free mentoring to people that I actually just think are just good human beings.
Oh, that's amazing.
No, don't come and ask me.
I wasn't. I was waiting for you to offer.
Bugger. No, so I do some of that as well. And the other things that on my personal side, when I set up my businesses, there's a few things I decided to do in my business, which people said I was crazy to do. I decided I was never going to work a Friday. Okay. I decided I wanted 26 weeks holiday. I decided I wanted to travel only business class or above. I haven't worked a Friday. So I set my boundaries. I don't allow anyone to book a time in to meet me on a Friday. It's
So
my
good.
decision. It's my decision to meet someone on a Friday. And people know that if I'm meeting them on a Friday, I'm allowing them into my time. And the respect on that is just huge.
Yeah.
Wendy only found this out about 18 months ago, that I actually don't work Fridays.
Oh.
So she goes, what do you do in your office? I said, I watch YouTube videos, catch up on the sport, go out for lunch. So she said, well, can you go and do the shopping? I went, no. Friday's not to go and do the shopping. Friday's my day to do. Right, but it's my time. I know I might do. I don't do some reading. I might, I might just catch up on paper. My office is a filthy mess because I've got boxes. So that's one thing to do. I said I wanted 26 weeks holiday because I wanted the flexibility, not to be tied to a desk. What I actually realised is I actually don't want 26 weeks holiday. What I want is the flexibility to say if I want to go away, I can go away because I don't need to be at my desk. Now, people may think that that's really weird now that we're past COVID and working from home or working from anywhere else. But you've got to understand this is in a period pre-COVID where Wendy and I were already living a COVID world because of a low immune system. So this concept of you not working in the office was quite weird when you were pitching. So that was that side. And then travelling business class. And people say, how'd you do that? I said, I just decided I'm travelling business class. Right, if I have to travel to Sydney, if I have to travel to Brisbane, it's part of my journey, it's part of my cost of working it. I would much rather travel business class and knock $100, $200 off a hotel than not do it, because that's for me is more important than doing that.
Yeah.
So those are things that, it doesn't matter whether anyone agrees or disagrees with those things I've set up in my business. What it is those are the 3 non-negotiables that I've set up in my life.
Yeah.
Because they're important to me, so I can be the best human being that I can possibly be.
Yeah.
And if that's not good enough for you,
so be it. Yeah. And leading our own way is not just about being in a professional sense. I was going to actually lead on to how you're leading your own way mentally as well, and I think you kind of just covered that. So with everything that you implement into your life, because I think they're amazing boundaries, and look, that would be inspiring to me in order for me to get to that position one day. I'd love to be able to be in that position one day to do that, and I think I'm on my way. Still not there, but I'm on my way. But does that before about fluctuating, what we said at the beginning, do you still fluctuate mentally, or are you prepared for the day mentally every single day because of the things you've put into place?
No, I'm from Denton. I'm totally screwed. Can I say totally fucked?
Yeah, of course. Swear away.
Totally screwed. No, I've got no, absolutely. So there's certain things that I'm not a 4 a.m. get up and go for an ice bath or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I am changing. I have changed. So part of what I do, the business that we talk about making every day count is about making the day for you count. And when I talk on the speaker stage and I do talks and everything else, I used to use the analogy, but it came very negative, that when there's someone on the stage talking about how they got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they only work for 4 hours and they do 12 hours gym work and everything else. I'm the guy in the audience eating burger and chips, going, tough, right? It ain't for me.
Yeah.
What is really important, though, is I understand that they've set a regime, that's a regime or process that's good for them. Yeah. So I set a process good for me. So in the last 2 weeks, I've decided that I'm no longer going to do I do spinning classes. I'm not going to do any spinning class before 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to wake up on a winter morning at 5:30 in the morning to get to a 6 o'clock spin class. So I've just decided that I'm going to do 7:15 classes. Means I don't get to my office, if I'm coming to my office, till 9:30, which annoys me because the guys I share the office with, I rent the office, it's a financial planning firm, we go for coffee at 8 o'clock and I kind of miss that. But we can make up on that. So I have to reset the boundaries for that. So that's my mental stuff. And this is going to sound really weird to people. My mental reaction is not reading. So I don't read, can't read well. Don't like reading, don't listen to podcasts, got no interest in listening to motivation people because I'm a bloke who's 55 and white, and I'm not going to listen to anyone anyway, so I might as well just do it myself. Now, I've never been interested in listening to motivation people or anything else.
Yeah.
Where I get my motivation from is watching things like Teen Mum and Pregnant at 16. Alone, watching the Alone program, watching humans be the only way is Essex, right? Watching humans being humans in a non-confined place. Two of my best quotes came from Teen Mum and Pregnant and Alone. One of them was Alone, where I don't know if you've seen this, where people have been put on an island and they've got to survive for 30 odd days. And there was a guy who had to walk up to a hill, and he decided that he wasn't going to walk up that path to the top because it's a well-trodden path, both of animals, so there probably wasn't going to be a lot of food along the way. It was going to take him a day and a half to get there. But there's another path, but it was an easy path. But there's another path that was being trodden but hasn't been trodden a lot, so he realised, yes, whilst there's animals, there's food there. And he said, I'm going to take the journey to the top that suits me, not the journey that others have taken just for the sake because others are taking it. And I think that's really important in life when you set the mindset. I'm going to do what's right for me, for me, not for what's right for you to please you.
Love that.
So that's the mindset. The other one was the Teen Mum and Pregnant, where this girl was 16 years old and she got a young kid, and her grandma was looking after the young kid. And she was pregnant again and she wanted to go out. And her mum just turned around to her and said, it's about time you started behaving like an adult.
Yeah.
That was it. You decide on what you think is the best thing for you to do as an adult. And that was it. And the girl stood there waiting for her mum, and the young girl started talking, and the grandma turned around and says, no, this isn't a conversation. This is for you to decide what you think is the best thing for you to do because you're an adult.
Yeah.
And I think that was really good, that you decide what's the best thing for you to. So when I live today, my mantra today, and how I live my own way, I live it the way that's right for me. That if there's one message that I want to get people from today, one or two messages is, do what's right for you because it's you. Don't do it to please others. Right? Yeah. We're so often when we hear, when I talk at schools, and I get invited to schools very often, because the first thing I say is, if you don't want to go to university, don't go. And the one that's paid the high private school fees have gone, oh, I said, no. But if you don't want to go, don't go. But what are you going to do? So doing nothing's not the option.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Because that's the realization that university is not for everyone. Yeah. But do what's right for you. Don't live your life through your parents because they wanted to be school. They wanted to be doctors or nurses or lawyers. Do what's right for you and what you want to do. And the beauty about today is it's moving so quickly that it's sometimes very hard for other people to understand the journey you're on, because there isn't a textbook for that journey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I felt that a little bit.
But the beauty about not having a textbook is you can't do anything wrong.
That's right.
Right. In hindsight, you could do things wrong, but at the time of making that decision, you can't do anything wrong. So whilst that happens, there's three other things I live by in my life and lead in my own way. I'm not deliberately going to kill anyone in my actions I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm not going to deliberately hurt anyone in anything I do, and I'm not going to deliberately damage my brand or your brand in anything I do. But when Gordon screws up, he usually screws up big time, right? If it puts a hole in the wall, it's not going to be a small hole in the wall. It's going to be a big hole in the wall, through the electrics, through the hot water pipe, through the cold water pipe, into next door's garden, right? And flooding the whole, right? If it's going to happen, it's going to happen big.
Because you were building a big house.
Because I'm building a big house. Yeah. So those are the things I live by and go, I'm human. Well, whilst I think I'm perfect, a lot of people tell me I'm not perfect, which is probably that's their problem, not my problem.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make mistakes. Right?
But you're a pretty successful guy then. So with everything you've just said in mind, have you made many mistakes along the way? And if so, what were some of the biggest mistakes you made? Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.